Hey, what's up, band kids, young and old? This is Russ, also known as RK Slade. In the house for Marching Band is Awesome, and we are going to do a live chat, which is going to take the place of my regular, heavily edited video. But as folks jump on, we'll talk a little bit about the Southeastern Championship tonight. But this will also serve as my kind of preview video as we go along into the championship tonight there in the Atlanta area. So hello, Jake and Bacon, good to see you. And so kind of just pretending like I'm recording a regular video but doing it live. And so basically we're going to talk a little bit about the scores from the previous couple of shows, and then also talk a little bit about the Southeastern Championship. So if you have questions, feel free to ask questions. As always, you guys can comment amongst yourselves as well. And I don't claim to be an expert by any means, but I am a big fan of DCI, so we can talk about that. So anyways, what I did want to say kind of here at the beginning though is the reason why I'm doing the video this way instead of a regular video where I do all the heavy edits and fun stuff is this is basically my life right now. I'm on the floor in my room, apartment. You can see over my shoulder. Not much going on because in the morning, tomorrow, we've got everything packed up, but in the morning we are going to roll up all of our bedding, throw it in the car, and drive across the country from California all the way over to Georgia. Now that's not related to DCI at all. We're not going over to the east to go see some more DCI shows, which I wish we were. But our family is relocating. After a relocation, we've been over here in California for about a year on an extended working vacation, and so we are going to go back home, basically. And so for the next 6 or 7 days, I'll be in the car with my family, 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and we'll be headed back to home, which is Georgia. So I wanted to record something today just in case I didn't get a chance to do any videos this coming week, which kind of stinks because it's getting really hot and the competition is heating up there at the top, especially in the top 2 or 3, as we just mentioned in the comments there. But so anyways, let's take a look. Since you brought that up, let's take a look at the scores from Nashville, which were last night. Let me just double check, make sure. It's been a whirlwind, so excuse me, the dates are crazy. But yeah, so the difference between number 1 and number 2, the Blue Devils and Santa Clara Vanguard, was 1/10 of a point, 92.450 for the Blue Devils and 92.350 for the Santa Clara Vanguard. And then we have a little bit of a jump from 2nd to 3rd for Carolina Crown, who has a 90.650. So if we kind of round and talk about just kind of rounded scores, we have the Blue Devils at 92, almost 92.5, and then Carolina Crown just over 90.5. So that's almost 2-point difference there. It's about a 1.8 difference between 1st and 3rd place. So there's a little bit of a gap there. We'll have to see what happens tonight to see if Carolina Crown can close that gap a little bit. But right behind them in 4th place, we have the Blue Coats with a 90.475. So they're just a few tenths of a point, well, just over 1/10 of a point behind the 3rd place Carolina Crown. Cavaliers are sitting pretty strong in the 5th place with an 88.550. Cadets, this is from Nashville, this is not the overall rankings, which I'll hit in just a second, but the Cadets in 6th place with an 85.950, and Phantom 84.450 in 7th, and the Blue Knights with an 84.100. Now I am going to pull up my overall spreadsheet here. You can take a look here over my shoulder. Got it on my fancy moving desk there. Minimalism, I like to live minimally, just for the last few days. I had a nice desk seated. It went from that to, my wife sold my office chair, because we're basically selling everything here in California because we've been out here temporarily. And so my wife sold my desk chair. So it went from a sitting desk to a standing desk, and what I did was I took a couple of plastic crates and raised up my keyboard and raised up the monitor so I could do a standing desk. Because we basically sold every chair in our house. Office chairs, dining room chairs, any kind of chair that I could have used as my desk chair, we sold it, we got rid of it. So for like the last week, I've been kind of standing. And then 2 days ago, she sold my desk table. So the table is gone, so I put everything on the floor. And so it became a squatting desk. But anyways, let's take a look at our top 12. This is the unofficial top 12 score that I've got right now after looking at my spreadsheet. We've got the top 4 in the 90-point club, which is pretty sweet. Starting with the Blue Devils, 92.450, Santa Clara Vanguard number 2, 92.350, Carolina Crown, 90.650, and the Blue Devils with a 90.475. So all the top 4 now are in the 90-point club. Cavaliers are about a 1.5 away at 88.550 and number 5. Boston Crusaders really strong, just barely behind them with an 88.050. And the Cadets with an 85.950 in 7th. In 8th, we got Phantom with an 84.450. In 9th, Blue Knights with an 84.100. In 10th, the Blue Stars with an 83.600. So that's our top 10. Rounding out the top 12, we have Crossman at 11, 83.500. That number 10 spot is in contention right now between the Stars and the Crossman. And Madison Scouts round out the top 12 with an 81.750. The Mandarins have been fighting for that 12th spot, and they are just behind the Scouts with an 80.750. So 1/10 of a point there. But somebody brought up that battle for 5th place we see happening between, really right now, the Cavaliers and the Crusaders. So Cavaliers with an 88.550 and the Boston Crusaders with an 88.050. So we've got basically 5/10 of a point right there, or half a point, separating them. So pretty strong. You guys are talking about who is going to take it, who will win the Southeastern Championship tonight. I'm going to say, I'm going to make a safe prediction and say that it's either going to be the Blue Devils or Santa Clara Vanguard. And then it'll be kind of a miracle if Carolina Crown or the Blue Coats can jump up into that 2nd position. They'll have to have something really miraculously strong happen, which can be done. It could happen, but I don't see it happening. But let's look at some caption scores real quick. I definitely don't want to see this video go super long. I know it's kind of a live chat, but we're right in the middle of moving. If you guys haven't seen it yet, this is my life right now. This is my life, my desk. I'm like literally sitting on the floor to do this video. So at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, well, we'll wake up at 5, about 5:45, we'll hit the road, start driving east. So I wanted to throw in this video real quick so that we, just in case, it's a 6-day long road trip from California to Georgia with a few stops along the way, but just in case I'm not able to make any videos, I wanted to do something today. So that's why I'm doing this live video. That's why it's not going to be an edited video. I'm just going to leave it up as a video. Unfortunately, I won't be able to put any cool, crazy effects and stuff on it, but hey, it's about the drum corps talk, not about the fun effects, although those are icing on the cake. So Jakin says, last night was my first time seeing Santa Clara Vanguard. I wanted to be surprised, so I didn't notice changes. Yeah, if it's your first time seeing it, you wouldn't notice any changes. I kind of felt the same way about the Blue Devils. I saw the Blue Devils early in the season at their family day. They didn't have a ending on their show at all. I mean, they ended their show, but they didn't have their planned ending included. And then I saw them a week later in Clovis, and they still hadn't basically finished the show out. And then I just saw their run through just a few minutes ago. I had a friend of mine who live streamed the practice run through of the full show, and man, even without uniforms, it's just so cool to see the drum corps do what they do. And so it was really cool. But to see, I've seen it on video, but to see it kind of live streamed there in the moment was pretty sweet, to see the Blue Devils full show all the way to the end. The Blue Coats, I'll have to dig into that. I haven't seen their full show in a couple days, so I'll definitely need to look at that and see what the ending looks like. So I did enjoy their show. I saw it on the 22nd, I believe, of June it was, when they did the premiere. And So I'll have to take a look at that for sure. Thanks for recommending that, Jakin, on the blue coats for sure. But oh yeah, so we're going to take a look at the caption scores just a little bit. Let's look and see who needs to work on what to get that first place finish tonight. This is just based on the Nashville show. And I am just looking at the DCI.org scores recap. They put up the captions there. So sorry for the shaky tripod moving around, but figured that's easier than just holding it with my hand the whole time and having the whole camera shake all the time. But anyway, so as you all know, if you look at caption scores, you know that a lot of times we can, I've mentioned this on the video before, and a lot of you mention this when we talk about this stuff, so I always like to mention it. If for some reason there's somebody who watches this video later who isn't really familiar with how the caption scores work, they can kind of look at this and at least from a basic standpoint understand. So I always like to start where most people start with drum corps, and that's usually music, especially if we're all musicians and we're taking a look at it. And so I always like to go look at the total music score and see who's strong there. And of course, it's usually reflective of the overall standings. And so for the Masters of Summer Music Games presented by Jupiter, Mapex, and Majestic from Nashville, Tennessee, Friday, July 28th, 2017. I don't know why I just read all that. I could have just said the Nashville show. The Blue Devils, who are in #1, actually scored a little bit lower than Santa Clara Vanguard in music. So SCV is bringing it when it comes to total music. They scored a 27.45, which is 0.25 points higher than Blue Devils' 27.20. Right there in third place is Carolina Crown with a 27.10. And then below that, everyone else is 26 or lower. And Blue Coats are right there, right under 27 points, so they were not too far behind Carolina Crown. But how does that break down? Well, we have to look at the three categories: brass, analysis, and percussion. And my favorite to look at is brass because I'm a brass guy, I'm a trumpet player. And so we want to look and see who has the strongest brass. In Nashville, it was the Blue Devils. They were the strongest brass with an 18.5. And then in second place was Crown, which is not a surprise. Crown has a very strong horn line this year at 18.30. Now there's still discussion going on Crown's social media, on DCI social media about Carolina Crown, their horn line. And their horn line, I think this is an extreme description, but their horn line being a backing band to a vocalist. Now, whether or not that's how you see it or whether or not that's how I see it is really irrelevant. Their show is what it is, so it's not really going to change, of course. And they've made some tweaks and some minor changes here, but I don't view, from an artistic standpoint, looking at the whole show, I've never viewed, you know, the vocalist who sings a good proportion of the show as being dominant or overbearing for the whole show. I think their opener, when they come out and play the fugue, it's just phenomenal, and the horn line for Carolina Crown, you know they're going to deliver. So anyways, I went on a ramble there, but Carolina Crown in that second spot, they're strong with an 18.3 in brass, and then SCV in the #3 spot with an 18.10. Below that, we've got Blue Coats in fourth. They seem to, if you go across the board, they seem to be scoring solid 3s and 4s as far as rankings go in these categories. Music analysis, we've got Carolina Crown taking that first spot, SCV #2, Blue Coats #3, and Blue Devils #4. And on to percussion. It's kind of easy to see why Crown in the overall rankings is consistently placing third if you look at their percussion scores. Now, this is not to pick on Carolina Crown, but it's just a reflection of, it's an observation of what's happening here in the caption scores. And so we see Carolina Crown has a 27.10 overall music score, which is strong. That's good enough for third place, but it's only by 0.1 of a point, so 1/10 of a point. So they're right there in the overall music score, but their weakness is they are scoring fourth in percussion. So we got SCV first place, Blue Devils in second place, Blue Coats in third place. I have to look back and forth on this chart here, and I'm not wearing my glasses. Yay! And so Carolina Crown is in 4th place in percussion in Nashville by a point, by a whole point, not a fraction of a point, but actually a whole point. And so if they're stronger in percussion, they're fighting for that 2nd place position, I believe, instead of kind of holding on to that 3rd position. There's just a subtle difference there, but Carolina Crown makes a strong push in percussion, and they're right up there in that 2nd place, and possibly fighting for the 1st place. So let's take another look at Carolina Crown and see where another weakness is. The next area that I like to go after I focus on the music is the color guard, because the color guard is a huge impact part of the show. It's very visual, and we see it on the field all the time. So they're kind of where, for me, where everything starts visually is the color guard. And of course, you know, the movement, the drill, and all that too. But so let's stay where we were with Carolina Crown. Carolina Crown's score in color guard was 5th place in Nashville. So if they can score higher in percussion and color guard, you will see them jump up into the 2nd place and possibly fight for that 1st place. And so right now they're just hovering in 3rd, I mean, it's anybody's game still, I guess you could say, in the top 4 or 5. But Santa Clara Vanguard and the Blue Devils are slightly pulling away, and the reason they're pulling away from Crown right now is because of the color guard and the percussion. And so they're Carolina Crown's 5th place in color guard at Nashville. Blue Devils are number 1. Santa Clara is number 2. The Blue Coats, the Cavaliers are number 3. The Blue Coats are number 4, and then Carolina Crown is number 5. So Carolina Crown definitely needs to amp up their percussion and color guards to move from 3rd place to 2nd place consistently. So what does that mean? It means that the Blue Devils and the Santa Clara Vanguard are consistently scoring high in the color guard category. They are both 1 and 2. And so that's reflective. If we go back and look at the total visual scores for the categories, we got Blue Devils with a 28.05, Santa Clara Vanguard with a 27.6. Let's see. We got the Blue Coats with a 27.15, and then Crown coming in 3rd. And they're not in 3rd by much. I mean, it's just fractions of a point, 10ths of a point, if even. And so if they could just, because if you look at their visual proficiency and their visual analysis, you can see that the spread between 1st and 3rd or 4th place is just very minute, very minute. So anyways, if you're a Crown fan, I'm actually a Crown fan. I'm actually a drum corps fan, so I love them all. But I tend to kind of root for Crown because I'm from the Southeast. I'm from Southeast Georgia, and so I pull for Spirit of Atlanta and Carolina Crown. But as far as the top, 6 go, to see Carolina Crown there, at least right now in this part of their journey, is you just kind of want to see that percussion and color guard score go up. General effect. Let's talk about general effect. Total general effect scores are going to go pretty straight down the order here. Blue Devils take 1, SCV takes 2, Crown takes 3, Blue Coats takes 4, Cavaliers take 5, Cadets take 6, Phantom takes, what number was I on? 7, they're not ranked, and then the Blue Knights take the last spot in 8th place. And again, this is from Nashville, this is not the overall ranking, so there's probably some core that we're missing from the Nashville show. But we do have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least the top 5 from Nashville are actually our top 5. So it's pretty cool. You guys have any questions about the captions? Again, I'm no expert in judging. I see what I see and I hear what I hear, and I can look at numbers and kind of observe and reflect what's going on. But overall, generally speaking, whoever's leading in those GE scores is typically going to be up there at the top. And then whoever's got strong percussion and guard scores they're going to reinforce those GE scores. So Bob says, who do you think will win GE? At this point, Tonight, I might kind of take a little risk and say that I think Santa Clara Vanguard will win. I misspoke just a second ago and I said it was down the rankings. Blue Devils and Santa Clara Vanguard are actually swapped. So, off topic, who do you think should have won 2015? I'm pretty okay with the way that everything panned out in previous years. This video right now is already over 20 minutes, so I do love Crown's show from 2015. I love their show from 2016 last year as well, Relentless. But but anyways, let me just go over one more time just to summarize. Going into the Southeastern Championship, they all have so many different names. I got to remember which one I'm talking about. And I'm getting old, so it's hard to sit on my butt for a long time, Indian style. But anyways, so going into the Southeastern Championship, I predict that we will see more of the same. Blue Devils, strong show. Santa Clara Vanguard. Every time I try to say that, I mess up. Santa Clara Vanguard, I think, will present the quote-unquote thorn in the Blue Devil side. So I think we'll definitely see a California top two for sure. And I think at the Southeastern Championships tonight, that Santa Clara Vanguard, if anybody right now, has a chance to either tie or score higher than Blue Devils. It's going to happen tonight. And I could be absolutely wrong about that. Blue Devils could come out and just take it by half a point. You don't know. I mean, I don't know, and you don't know. I was reading a comment as I said that, but I said this when I watched the live stream earlier of the Blue Devils run through their practice stuff, that that I haven't ever been a huge Blue Devils fan, other than the fact that I love all drum corps, and so I like to see a good show. So if it's a good show, I'm a fan, right? If it's not a good show, I'm less of a fan, but I'm still a fan. So I'm not a hardcore like, Blue Devils, I love you, and everybody else is crap, or whatever. I'm just not that way. I want to be entertained. I want to be moved. I want to be inspired, and every drum corps, especially this season too, especially since I've been focusing a little bit more on trying to look at all the scores and look at the captions a little bit. I have really just become a fan of all of them. Every single one. I just love what they're doing. And so, anyways, I think Carolina Crown takes third tonight again. And maybe the Bluecoats stretch back up into the top three. You know, the Bluecoats came on super strong in the early part of the season, but again, in their last competition, they're only scoring it's one. The math is terrible because it's 3 decimal points, and I don't do it in my head very well. 2 jagged lines. But anyways, it's less than 2 points. Excuse me, it's less than 1 point separating 2/10 is what I'm trying to say. It's less than 2/10 of a point separating the 3rd spot from the 4th spot as far as scores go. And then the Cavaliers and the Crusaders for that 5th and 6th spot are about 5/10 of a point, a little bit, yeah, about 5/10 of a point separating there. So we possibly could see in the next couple shows, tonight especially, we could see a swap at 1 and 2. So we might see the Blue Devils get defeated. We might see the Bluecoats jump back up into top 3, which would mean the Carolina Crown would slip down to number 4. And then we might see the Boston Crusaders hop up into the top 5. So that would be pretty sweet. I don't know. So I'm going to wrap up this. I think the high scoring means finals will break 99. I do, and I want to see that. We need more vids on contra warm-ups. That would be sweet. I'm not a Contra player. I can't help you. Oh, but this is kind of weird. This is a live video, and I typically don't do a whole lot of live videos on YouTube. And I'm about done. I'm about finished. And when I'm doing the videos for editing, I will edit all this awkward rambling out. But I'm not gonna do it on this video. I'm gonna hit finish. I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna publish it to YouTube, and it will be a video in the series of all my DCI recaps, just without all the fancy bells and whistles. And so I really appreciate you guys watching. I'm so thankful for the likes, the comments, and of course the subscribes. You know, I say this at the end of every video. You guys are awesome. Bob, I appreciate you watching. There's not going to be a full video. This is going to be the full video, so you can comment there, but I won't do any edits on this one, so this is going up. If you just joined and you're wondering what in the world I'm doing, what am I talking about, why is there an empty room all around me with a box, why is my desk a box right now? So the Marching Band is Awesome show, if you will, our family, we're moving back to the East Coast. I'm right now in Sonoma, California, which is kind of up near Napa Valley, which is where all the wine comes from in California. There's vineyards everywhere. There's like literally a vineyard outside my house. Not really, but there are vineyards everywhere. And so we've basically had our fill of California. We come out here, plan to work for a year. My wife does temporary speech pathology, which is like a speech therapist, and she can work pretty much anywhere. And so she hooked up with a company, and they basically placed us in several places in California. So we've worked several assignments over here. We got done with it. We're ready to go back home. We miss our family. My kids miss their grandparents, and mom and dad miss having the grandparents to drop the kids off so we can have date nights. And so we're gonna go back home to Georgia for a while. And so a lot of my high school coverage, I've got a lot of text messages come in about our trip. We're road tripping, so with another long story, but anyways, we're caravanning back with another couple who is also family, and so they are trying to work out logistics as I'm making a video. Come on, quit texting me. But anyway, so we're driving back, and I plan to try as best as I can to cover UIL and BOA stuff the same way that I'm covering the drum corps stuff. We'll have to figure it out and see how that converts into kind of high school marching band videos, but I'm excited about it. A bunch of my friends are band directors in the high school world, and so I'm going to see if I can work a bunch of contacts and have some fun covering some marching band as well, because as you know, marching band is awesome. And I like to end every video by saying this. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Marching band is awesome because you're awesome. And I say that not just flippantly or randomly. I say it because every part of drum corps, every part of marching band, I'll make that distinction for those of you that are bothered by putting all of them in the same basket. But band kids, corps kids, band parents, band directors, the fans that come out to see football games, competitions and shows and competitions and all that, festivals, like they are all of that is what makes marching band is awesome. And so I know I have a little bit of you know, I don't remember how many subscribers we're at now, but pushing 800 subscribers, I believe, here on the YouTube channel. We've got, that's a great question. If SCV wins, can you shave your beard? Maybe. I'll just leave it at that. Maybe. I actually went yesterday. This is so crazy. I went yesterday. It's so gnarly right now. I went yesterday to go get it just shaped up and just groomed, you know, right? Because this is my California beard. I've always had a beard, but it's never gotten like this Viking before. Or wildling. Anybody watch Game of Thrones? I feel like I could be an extra on Game of Thrones, but and so anyways, the place that I was gonna go to just didn't work out yesterday, so I gotta figure something out. When I get back to Georgia, I've got a few buddies that they're just all up into beard culture, so we're gonna shape it up real nice and it'll be sweet. But let me think about it. That might be a fun challenge. If SCV wins, will I shave my beard? Maybe. I'll think about it and I'll make a video. And if I decide to do it, we'll make a big deal out of it. So that's a great challenge. It's just facial hair. It can always grow back. But I love it. But anyways, it is getting kind of gnarly. So you guys rock. I will see you on the next video. Peace out. Did I really just say peace out? Yeah, I think I did. Goodbye.